Hello and welcome to the Open Hour, a podcast channel where we delve into a wide range of topics and engage in meaningful conversations. Whether it is the societal shifts, the economic developments, the political changes, or the cultural interactions which take place, we have it all. Let's engage in a meaningful conversations and let's keep it blunt, straightforward, and frank. Stay tuned. The future is waiting. I'm Dr. Jan Philip, an educator and quizmaster. I would like you to join me to frankly and freely speak about the issues of the day and speak something which is troubling your mind. Let's keep it open, let's keep it simple, let's keep it frank. That is the Open Hour for you. Thank you. Today we speak about transgenders, transgender identity, navigating the journey. We are tackling a complex issue, and let's talk about it. Outspoken, free, and transparent. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation flow, and that's the Open Hour. The question of the third gender has long been controversial, yet it has not been addressed, nor solved, nor resolved. And what do we do about this? It has not been addressed by the society and the governments alike. It's a journey less traveled, less traversed, but questioned. First, let's begin with the basics. Who is a transgender? A transgender person is an individual who identifies with a gender different from the one assigned to them at birth. Despite ongoing cries of social justice, not just in India but across the world, transgender individuals continue to face social isolation, social discrimination. And this is not just in terms of a society or a community as such, but across different sections of the society, which we have to address. What has been done and what more can be done to combat this deep-rooted social stigma which we endure. Understanding these challenges is important because it has to foster an inclusive society to which I and you belong to. We have to make the society more inclusive of this complexity of understanding the plight of transgenders. The prejudices they face cannot be ignored. The prejudices they face can be questioned. The prejudices they face has to be questioned, resolved in a transparent manner. That's what we believe in. It's an existential threat that lurks not only in human minds, but in our thought processes, in our concepts, and perhaps disturbingly in our prayers. Do we have a solution? Will we have one? And when can we have one? Ladies and gentlemen, in our studios, we have 4 panelists. One, Dr. Chiran Alexander, former professor at the St. Joseph's University, Bangalore. Reverend Matthew Philip, director of the Navodaya movement of the Mahatma Church. Rachel Jan Philip, senior faculty of the Indus Teachers Training Research Institute and a researcher who has done extensive research on transgenders and a transgender herself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Open Hour. We want conversations to flow freely. I'll be asking some tough questions and let's take talk of the situation. Let's talk about the realities which our world is facing, which our society is facing. Thank you so much for joining us. I have with me Dr. Chiran Alexander, senior professor and the HOD of the Department of English, St. Joseph's University, Bangalore. Sir, thank you very much for joining us live on our show, Transgenders Navigating the Journey. I know you have a tight schedule, but thank you so much for sparing your time for us. I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Alexander, transgenders, they're often mistaken, they are socially isolated. Have there been any changes in the society as of now? What are your views on it? Can I have some? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Historically, because most of our societies have been patriarchal societies for centuries, millennia, um, there has not been much, consideration for the rights of people who are different, what we would today call sexual minorities, historically. But that has been changing rapidly. in the Western countries, especially liberal, because of liberal societies, we've had progressive reforms over the last 30, 40 years, especially, which has made it possible for people who we call sexual minorities, transgenders, along with others who have different sexual orientations. They are now able to live with confidence, be themselves, not be afraid. Otherwise, in the past, the tendency was for many to end their lives,
Oh, that
because
was bad, yeah.
That was
they
bad, yeah.
because they just couldn't, survive in a society that was so transphobic. But today, that need not happen, and many of them are productive members of society today. Because all human beings are endowed with talents. The sexual dimension is only one dimension of our personalities.
And that is something which is misunderstood. That is something which is misunderstood.
Yes, that is true.
Right, right,
So
yeah.
that has now been, in liberal societies, that has been understood. But right now, at the moment, we are witnessing a bit of backlash in some places, especially in the United States. A kind of regressive move towards a time of oppressive patriarchy and transphobic attitudes. One hopes that that will only be a blip in the progress that has been made, and that it won't have much impact. But by and large, that's how it is. In India, I have a feeling that there has been culturally some places in India where there was some leeway for people who were they would be called effeminate or something, but I think they would be tolerated in some places, and these people could actually form small communities like we have the hijras and so on. But even then, by and large, here too, there's a strong element of transphobic attitudes, especially among the middle classes and so on. And religion has contributed a lot to that. But that,
I'm just coming to that. I'm just coming to that. I'm just coming to that. You spoke about religion,
yeah,
and you belong to the Christian
yeah.
community. Dr. Alexander, what I wanted to ask you is, what is the position of the church with regard to this particular question of transgenders?
I have a feeling that the church is slowly opening out to this. In the Roman Catholic Church now, I belong to a university run by the by Jesuit fathers who belong to the Roman Catholic tradition. And here I have noticed that transgenders are welcomed, to join as students and also to participate in college activities, as well as to be involved in seminars and so on. There's an ongoing, process of awareness raising among the general public, and particularly the student community, about being respectful of the rights and dignities of transgender people. So that is happening in the church to which I belong, the Martoma Church. uh, there is a greater concern now for their rights, and the church itself has opened up several mission programs to help transgenders find livelihood means, that could help them to earn a living, accepting them as they are, and according them the dignity they deserve.
Okay.
So that is a welcome thing.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, so are they being economically integrated into the society, and that will be a good step, right? That will be a good step
Yeah.
if taken forward.
Yeah.
If that economic integration can be considered or can be implemented in a larger way, that'll go a long way, I think, for the transgenders being part of the inclusive society which we all long for, which we want for. Dr. Alexander, my last question to you is, I was seeing a video probably last night, and Donald Trump clearly states there will only be two genders from now on. I don't know whether you saw that video or not. I mean, he was very clear. He was very clear. He was categorically clear. And this was in front of a packed audience.
I know.
This was in front of a packed audience. So my question
I
to
came
you,
across the same thing. Yes.
Yes. My question to you, Dr. Alexander, is can you comment on that? I mean, where do we go now? This is happening, mind you, this is happening in the United States of America. We are talking to the president of the United States, and his take is there will only be two genders. So, what's your view? What's your opinion on that?
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Yeah, the thing is this, that I see a lot of double standards and hypocrisy in the American right at the moment, especially from the religious right. When you look at the spectrum of Christianity in the United States, the liberal churches, the mainline churches, are all pro sexual minority rights and pro transgender. The Episcopalian Church, for example, that bishop, a lady, she openly
Yeah.
pleaded with Trump to be kind, just to show kindness to people who are different from others. And by the way, sexual minorities constitute a very small percentage of the general population. They pose no threat whatsoever to others.
I mean, no legal threat, no political
No
threat,
legal
no
threat,
social
nothing at
threat.
all. If they're allowed to just live their lives, they pose no threat at all. So this is an alarmism that is completely manufactured and unwarranted, I feel. One, and so, but the thing is that the, you cannot, on the one hand, say that you are pro-life, and on the other, start harassing people who just want to live the normal lives and contribute to society just the way they are. So yeah, this is a setback for human rights essentially in the United States at the moment, and that's rather sad. One hopes that better sense will prevail.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Alexander, for joining us. And we will be shifting back now to our studios as such. Thank you so much for joining us. Your insights were insightful and resourceful at the same time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. We are on a live broadcast. So I just wanted to ask you some questions. We know that transgenders face a lot of problems in the society, within the community, and of course elsewhere. So, ma'am, I just wanted to ask you, what are the challenges which you face on a regular basis? What are the problems you have?
Yes, uh, uh, especially from starting onwards, sir. So from my community, they accept we uh, but family members, we face little stigma discrimination because they think that so we are little separate people.
So this is within your family, right? Within your family, you face a lot of problems within the family itself.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, ma'am, please start. Please go ahead. Okay, that is one problem. That's a point which is taken. What are the other problems which you face? Yeah.
And one more thing, that now they are realizing that we are also blessed people. That now they are.
Of course you are. Of course you are. You're blessed.
Yes. And the formerly the stigma discrimination was more and more.
So now do you feel that has come down? That sort of social stigma which we perceive or which we conceive in the society. So you say that that has come down?
Yeah, it has come down, and that especially I can mention that more Christian people, more Christians, not like a more only, rather than Hindu. The Christian, they think that we are like a, they see us like a kind of like a stigmatized people, like a uh, abandoned people. They think that is why. See, they see us little different way.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
uh, what I mean to say, see, everywhere it is mentioned. It is like a Because one more I want to say, it is,
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
yeah, behalf of us only. See, if I behave well, the opposite person also they treat me well. So like that, maybe our people may had they may done some wrong things. So because of our Christian brothers and sisters, they don't know that uh, uh, they think that all are equal. So that is why they think that these people are little different people. They do wrong
Okay.
things.
Ma'am, can you tell me now? We spoke about the challenges which you face on a daily basis. Um, Economically speaking, I mean, what are your problems or challenges which you face uh, when it comes to specifically employment? I mean, that's where it all starts with, right? Yeah, please tell me on that.
See, nowadays, no, our people wanted to work, but in the especially corporate offices or MNC companies, whatever, they they like um, they comment us like these people are like this, these people are like this. No, but not all. Some of,
So, are you saying when you approach a MNC, when you approach a corporate, they make negative comments about
yes,
you? Oh, okay.
yes,
That is very disturbing. Okay, okay, fine. So whenever you approach them, I mean, are you saying that all this happens in spite of the fact that you are educationally qualified, you have a professional expertise which you can lend? So in spite of all this, in spite of contributing to the workforce in a very positive way, you say you face a lot of social stigma even there with the MNCs, with the corporate sections of the society as such. Yeah, that is very disturbing to note, ma'am. Yes. Now, yeah, please go ahead.
can I continue, sir, please?
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. Because of that only, our people they are became on the road. See, they can't tolerate the stigma, uh, 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 like a discriminating us. So they are on the road. In the road, they are also like a like a shouting like anything. You people can't walk this and that. When they go to office, they discriminate us like that. When they are on the road, like begging and all. So they are road. They are there also. They have a kind of like a
Okay, I understand. I understand your point, what you're saying. I mean, most of you are forced to beg, which is disturbing, ma'am. Sorry for that. But you say even on the streets when you beg, when you
yes.
ask for money, or when in the signals and there you have a problem there. And what you're saying is when you go to a company office, when you approach a corporate side, or when you approach an NGO also, you're saying they question you, right? They question you as to what you can do. And on the roads, it's very disturbing. You are asked the question, why don't you go to work? And when you go to work, the question again is, what can you do? And why can't you do it the way we tell you to do? Uh, Ma'am, from here, from the Open Hour channel, we deeply sympathize and empathize with you, and we will carry forward the message which you have. But please be rest assured that the society will head towards a progressive, inclusive society where each one is treated equally. So thank you so much for joining us in the Open Hour. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Hello, we are with Reverend Matthew Phillip, who has joined us. Reverend Matthew is unfortunately hospitalized, but he has agreed to join us from the hospital bed. Thank you so much, Reverend Matthew Phillip, for joining us. It's a great honor to have you here. It's a great honor and privilege to have you here. Reverend Matthew Phillip is the director of the Navodaya movement of the Mahatma Church, and we are fortunate to ask him some questions. Um, Sir, what do you perceive of the role of transgenders today? I mean, what is the social stigma which they go through? Have their social conditions improved? Are they moving towards a state of progressive inclusion into our societies as such?
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Actually, I apologize for not being able to be on video. Unfortunately, I had an
That's fine.
accident last week, accident, and also gone through one surgery. Simply said, now resting. That's I'm not able to come on video. But
That's fine. That's fine, Reverend Matthew. It's so nice to have you with us. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
thank you, Rachel and Jan, for inviting me. Thanks for being me, and also you gave a small space in your timeline to express my views on this particular issue, in which I have been for last 12 years working. Anyway, the question which you asked is very relevant actually. In India, the situation has changed a lot. In 2014, April 15, the NALSA versus Union of Government judgment has made a significant change in the lifestyle and rights of the transgenders in India. That has also happened a long way of struggles, litigations in the Supreme Court, High Courts, and many other courts. But finally, in 2014, April 15, the NALSA versus Government of India, that judgment has come. That created a big avenue for all the transgenders in India. Oh, they are accepted as another gender. In NALSA judgment, it is recorded it's a third gender,
Third
but
gender. Third gender.
but we are not using that word third gender because it's derogative and it is offensive also. So after hearing the request of the transgenders, now the Supreme Court is now in the process of changing the third gender. But instead of third gender, we address them transgenders. That is only one word commonly accepted to address call those people. But in judgment, it is third gender. But anyway, we are not using that word any longer. But
Okay. Okay.
after accepting this another gender, still a confusion is there. Is it a third? Is transgenders a third gender? Then who will be the first and second? That ethical question is there. That is the one reason we are not using third gender. If the male is first gender or female is first, who made them first? That fundamental question is there. That's one reason we are not using third gender. All genders are here in existing and prevailing in our society in this world. So we are not numbering the gender in a hierarchical order. Okay, anyway, after accepting this gender as a common in India, the universities are now providing a special column for transgenders for entering their name. And also they are giving some medical assistance and surgery assistance and many other medical like Aishman card is now issued by the government of India for transgenders for their treatment. Up to 5 lakhs rupees is allowed for transgenders. And state government in Kerala also, and I am working in Kerala. Kerala is the first states in India who passed a transgender policy in 2015. So in they have started an account in a budgetary provision, that's rainbow account, in which they are included 5 crores rupees for transgender benefit. In many ways, the situation is changing in India. All states, many CBOs are community-based organizations are coming up. Many NGOs in India also coming up for supporting and being with transgenders for their rights struggles. So in that respect, transgenders are now recorded their presence in very high esteem, but still discrimination is there in workplace. Unemployment is a very big issue. School dropouts, college dropouts are increasing. Homelessness is the biggest issue among the transgenders. HIV infection, depression, this transphobic society, and legal protection also now at stake in some states. So these are the situations in which these transgenders are going through. But in generally, when we speak, the situation has changed a lot. The common public also started accepting in a big manner.
No, that is something positive which we can look forward to. When we hear the problems which they face, of course, it seems a very, very complex issue as such. But Reverend Matthew, hearing that, saying that of what you have said, there are a lot of progressive measures which have been taken not just by the central government, but also by the state governments in India, which is fine. Reverend Matthew, what I wanted to ask you is, you belong to the Navodaya movement, which is a part of the Mahatma Church where you practice. Reverend Matthew, can you specifically point out the position of the church, not just the Mahatma Church alone, but generally speaking, what is the position of the church in this particular issue, and what are the problems you encounter when you actually undertake social work, humanitarian work with them? Please.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking such question because it is very essential and it's very urgent to be answered this question.
No, that's my duty. That's my duty. That's my duty. That's fine.
Really, I appreciate you because we generally we think that all churches are very open. Every churches are accepting all kinds of people. There is no discrimination. It's open for all. It's very inclusive. That's all a kind of mask. Our churches are not in that respect accepting all communities in our society,
Why
especially
not?
the
Why not?
transgender.
What should
I
change?
tell you
What
one
should
by
change?
one.
Yes,
I will
yes,
tell you one by one, Ajay.
yes.
Then actually, I have visited most of the states in India regarding and in connection with my project, and in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, in these two states have come very forward accepting the community in their church services, and I've seen that the old Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, one pastor was ordained. Bharati, you might have heard of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Bharati was
yeah.
ordained as a minister. And in Andhra Pradesh, one tele-evangelist, Anjali, is there. She's my friend. She's visiting many countries in the world and giving message to the churches. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, these two states, now the Telangana, Andhra, but these three states are exempted from my next analysis. The one thing, our project has been, which started in 2012 in Mumbai. Now it is getting 12 years. I would say the people of my church, most of the people asking the same question what they had asked 10 years ago. So no difference. The people, the more we enter into them with the awareness programs and deliberations, the more and more dilemma the people are getting into again. That's a one big issue what I am facing. That people are not that much open their mind or inclusive to accept transgender. So one thing, the main block is cultural block, because traditionally our church is acknowledging and propagating that two genders, male and female. So apart from that, outside that binary box, the church people are not able to accept another gender because they are thinking that it is against the principles of creation, what narrated in the Genesis. Despite the fact that we started many awareness programs, most people are still in the dilemma of this gender binary issue. They never accept another gender as created by the God. The other thing, the financial problems. So the churches are, especially my project and my church is facing another problem. And after the Modi came into the power in the central government, the foreign currency regulation has created a big issue for the churches and its mission. I'm not criticizing that government, but that created a big block because these people are totally downtrodden. They don't have their own house. They nothing they have, even not a document to mortgage in the loan, for in the bank. So how we approach these people? We need money for uplifting this transgender community, but now we are running with those very small donations from inside the church members in India. The other thing, so first I said the cultural problem, next is financial, the third one is ethical. So, why our community is not ready to accept the transgenders?
Well, that's a question. That's a question which we have to ask ourselves.
Yes, the one.
Reverend Matthew, that's a question which we have to ask. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yes.
That is a question. That is a question which we have to, which each one of us, across different regions and across different states, we need to ask this question: why have we not included the transgenders as part of an inclusive society. I think we are supposed to be blamed for that. Yes, Reverend Matthew, please go ahead.
Okay, the ethical issue in Kerala, particularly in Kerala, the most of the transgenders are engaged in sex work in the night in highways and metropolitan cities.
That is very disturbing. That's very disturbing, right? It's very disturbing when you say the
I tell
transgenders,
you,
yeah, are involved in sexual work. Yes, yes.
yeah. Yes, I tell you, Jayan, because outside Kerala, I've been to there in Maharashtra for so many years. Maharashtra transgenders, mostly they are not engaged in sex work. They are begging, clapping, and begging, and other fund collection programs are there. But in Kerala, the people, they themselves have stopped begging. They themselves had banned begging in Kerala. So instead of begging, they come out in the night and they sell their body
Oh, okay,
in
okay.
during the night time. Most of the transgenders, if I make a percentage, 60% of transgenders might be engaged in sex work in Kerala.
That's a huge 60%. That's a huge one.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Why? Why? Because sex work is the very easy mode of earning money. I know many sex workers, my friends, they're telling that they're earning 15, 20,000 per day.
That's very disturbing. That's very disturbing. Yes, yes.
But that depends on their appearance and their body structure and all. But some people are not getting even 1,000 rupees.
Okay,
That
okay.
situation is also there. Was these are all depends on their appearance, their beauty, and if they are surgically removed their private parts and all. These are all related. How their hair is grown, and many factors are there that depending their income. Anyway, why the people, those who are in Kerala, those who are seeing these transgenders are engaging in the sex work in the night, they are not ready to accept these people to the church because these people are doing sex work. How can they accept these people?
Okay, okay. That's the point. That's the point. Yes, yes. Okay.
The second thing, second thing, the transgenders are their life is very expensive. I would say because it's not a deliberate expense, but it happens in their life. They need a treatment, they need feminization process, good dress, because their passion is to express as a woman or a boy. So they spend huge amount for the feminization process because they wear a very good dress, attractive and costly dress and ornaments. The people who are seeing all these things, they asking the question, Achan, Father, why you are working with those community? They are leading a very luxurious life. Then why we spend our offertory money for these people? That is another, because these people are seeing these kinds of expressions outside their church. That is another reason. The luxury is
Okay.
another. The final problem is theological. The Protestants and Victorian morality has crept into India in 18th century itself. So this transgender, gay, bisexual, lesbian, all these gender identity minorities were considered criminals in India. They could have sent behind the jail at that time. So the Protestant church and evangelicals are still having the same mindset of Victorian morality. But we have India got independent. We made our own constitution. Now we are a republic. We have removed 377 from the constitution. But still, the people are not ready to accept a constitutional morality. So we need to talk about a constitutional morality. Many people are still following the religious morality. What Bible says about they need all answers in Bible, but they are not concerned about we are going to Mars and Moon. That is not mentioned anywhere in
No, no,
Bible.
no. Yeah, I get that. I get that. So, Reverend Matthew, what you're speaking about is that we as a society do have a constitutional role also here because they have to be accepted. They have to be accepted. Yeah, yes, yeah.
We cannot relay the purpose, the pages of Bible all the time, all the time.
So we need to, from our side also, we need a constitutional provision. We need a political protection.
Yeah, we are living in a 21st century, and in 2024, we have a cemented proofs and evidence for being a transgender, why this transgender boy or girl is born, how they are getting into this situation. It's all proven. But still, the religious morality setting apart. The churches are not ready to give membership for the transgenders. This is my personal experience. Even
No,
Martoma
no, no.
Church in
Yeah. I get that point because you were pointing out the perspective of different religious groups here, and that is something which seriously which we need to encounter and take that into introspection as such. Reverend Matthew, thank you so much for joining us. Since we're short of time, we'll have to wind up here. But thank you so much for joining us live from Kerala. And from all of us here in the Open Hour channel, we wish you a speedy recovery and we wish you all the very best for the great work which you're doing with the transgender community. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so much.
Reverend Matthew. Thank you so much, Reverend Matthew. Thank you. We are joined by Rachel Jan Phillip, who is a member of the senior faculty of ITARI, Indus Teachers Training Research Institute, and the University of Windsor. Rachel has done extensive research on transgenders, the identity crisis which they're facing. So I'm fortunate to have her with me in the studio. Rachel, why did you choose this? I mean, transgenders, that's a complex issue, right? Why did you choose this as your research topic?
This began with something which happened as a critical incident in my life, this is not something that happened only to me, but it could have happened to anybody, I'm sure, because often when we go to the signals in Bangalore, we have the transgender community and some of them who approach us and for alms and begging. I usually am, quite scared of them. So I,
You rolled up the window.
instinctively, I rolled up the windows, and that's what many of us do. But there was this one day where this particular transgender saw me rolling it up, and she told me, "Can you roll it down again?" With a gesture. And once I rolled it down, I was quite taken aback because she spoke English, which I, was quite, again, I was quite astounded by. She said, "I've seen you quite often going by this place. You're a Christian." I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, why do you keep rolling up the window every time I come to you?" And I said, "Well, I'm a little scared. But isn't it your Bible that says, that talks about us in Isaiah 56? It says that the eunuchs who keep the Sabbath are supposed to be greater than the sons and daughters in you. Isn't that what your Bible says?"
That struck you,
That completely astounded me, bowled me over, and that was the beginning of this journey. Because I did not expect that. That was not something I've read it. It has worried me. It has messed me up. It has caused a lot of dissonance in my head. But until that moment, I did not really face the situation the way I did that day. And that was very important. That was a turning point for me when I had decided I was going through my Masters of Divinity from Tafti at that point. And that was the time I decided that if I'm doing my final thesis, it will be about this.
So this was many years ago. It was not just...
No, this was many years ago. And I remember going back home, coming back there, sitting with her at the signal, having this chat about, her entire life story, how she came about doing it, how she, how the family rejected her, and how she's come back, and how many problems she has faced. And she's been resilient, and how she's trying to, be strong in herself. And that was a day when I was totally, I didn't know what to do, that I desperately wanted to do something for them, to benefit them in some way, for their voices to reach out to the world.
So you decided that this is a cause which I'm going to take up. You decided that this is something which I need to research or find out more.
Absolutely.
Or probably contribute to this.
Yes, it was actually a very epistemological study between, understanding my own beliefs and understanding my opinions, they were completely different from each other. So it was.
So when you took on this research, extensive research, you faced a lot of challenges in between, right?
Yes, because
Not in terms of documentation, not in terms
No.
of finding resources, but
yeah, it was
interacting
about
with these people,
interacting
with
with
transgenders.
them, and also realizing that so many of my beliefs may or may not have been right, and that was a big challenge for me as well. So yes, understanding their life, understanding what they go through, the atrocities that are committed on them. I have read so many books extensively. There is a book by Manobi Upadhyay, who's the first principal, the transgender
First transgender
principal.
principle, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And there are so many which are still coming up now, and that feels good that they are kind of realizing who they are, and that they have a place in the society, and that they have a voice. I'm so glad that it is beginning to happen for them. I can see even in the church they are being more open.
So that's a good step. That's a progressive step.
Yes, I think the church per se seems to be open, but when it comes to, I'm not sure whether it is
The members of the church.
the
is that-
members of the church, whether what they feel about it, how do they feel if there's a transgender coming to a church. I'm not sure how they would react or feel about it. So there's a lot of difference between what the church really believes in, and and probably
and
what
what is
people
happening?
understand.
The ground reality. The ground reality.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Rachel, I understood that point or that perspective of yours. But tell me frankly, what are the legal challenges they face? They face a lot of challenge, politically, socially, economically. Legally speaking, are we somewhere near? I mean, do we have a solution? Are we able to give them protection?
It actually began with in the year 1861.
That was under Queen Victoria, if I'm not
Absolutely,
mistaken. Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
And that was the time when IPC 377 had begun. And that was when, the whole idea of it being moralistically wrong is what came out through that judgment. Um, Slowly and steadily, that all I feel that also was a reason because of which there was so much harassment for them. In the year 2014, we had another law, which
There's a
was
landmark judgment of the
the
Supreme Court.
landmark judgment of the Supreme Court, which is the NALSA, or the
You're talking about the National Legal Service Authority, yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So that was the time when they were actually recognized as third gender. And I think that
Officially, they were the
Yes,
third gender. And
yes.
that was a great day, I think.
That was a great day
moment,
for
yeah.
them. But as I said, there were ups and downs in all of that, because there weren't details in those laws about how they need to live or how they need to there were loopholes in that which was found by the legal systems as well as by them, because of which there were more atrocities committed on them, more violence that happened with them, and they did not find their place in the society. It's still taking time, and it's still taking its own sweet time to get resolved. And recently we had 2020, there was 2019-20, we had another law which was for their protection. Now, why would they want a protection bill which had to come? It was because that was the kind of situation they were in. They
So are you
needed-
saying, legally speaking, now they are protected and there is there's a proper bill which ensures their protection?
There is a bill, and they need to own it, and they need to stand up for their rights, and they need to be standing up tall in front of the world, and asking and demanding for their rights.
So are you saying, or can you say with authority and with conviction, that transgenders, their role in the society is more open now, is more transparent now, and they are positively being included in this so-called inclusive society, which we always speak about and which we actually, boast about sometimes. So are they somewhere there closer, or are they somewhere near?
That depends on them and their ability to stand up tall and say that I have a right in this society. I'm part of this society. I'm part of this world. And that is something that they need to own, and they need to be able to be confident about it. There are so many of them who are realizing that education is a must. Education, that they shouldn't give up education. Education is something, is going to be their stronghold. So if they have that in their hands, I don't think there should be anything that comes in their way. And
Yeah.
I think they should feel empowered with education and stand up tall, stand up strong, and I'm sure that the world will accept them in time.
That's a great message from Rachel when you say that they should be part and parcel of this inclusive society which we often speak about. And of course, we see light at the end of the tunnel. We see a lot of progress being made, legally speaking. Social inclusion, yes, it will take time, but let's hope for it. Let's hope that the social inclusion will be a reality in the years to come. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We've almost come towards the end of the show. We spoke about different aspects related to transgender identity, navigating the journey. We've got a long, long journey to make. We have the challenge, we have the promises to keep. How do we meet this challenge of including transgenders into our inclusive society? How do we meet their aspirations? How do we help them to fulfill their dreams? And how do we incorporate them as an integral part of our society? The challenge is tough, but let's not give in. Let's not give up. We all need to work together. We all need to work together to make the dream of an inclusive society a reality. Can the world do it? Will India do it? The question remains. But of course, let's take up the challenge. And all of us together, we can make a difference. And let's make a difference in the life and role of a transgender. Let's be there to help them. Let's be there to make it happen. And when it happens, then the goal and dream of an inclusive society will be complete and real. Thank you so much for joining us at the Open Hour. This is Jan Phillip signing off. Thank you so much.